Is walking better than running for fat loss? That's a hot topic at the moment, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it once and for all. So I came up with an idea for an experiment to prove conclusively which is better for fat loss, walking or running. In this video, I'm going to reveal the results of that experiment and show you which one actually burns more fat, so you can decide whether you should be lacing up your running shoes or just heading out for a walk. So full screen the video and let's lock in. Before we get into the experiment, there's something I see trip up guys like you over and over when it comes to fat loss. You see, a lot of guys will pick the workout that they think is going to give them the biggest calorie burn. That's the whole strategy. Burn as many calories as fast as possible. But here's the problem. That's only one piece of the puzzle, because it's not just about the calories that you burn during the workout. It's about what the workout costs you afterwards. Does it leave you so wiped out that you end up skipping your next session? Does it leave you starving and overeating? Does it rake your knees or your back so you're sidelined for a week? And probably most importantly of all, do you even enjoy it? I've seen so many people train like lunatics for a few weeks, lose a few pounds only to crash and rebound even harder. And this might sound counterintuitive, but the main goal of your workouts should not be to burn the most calories. It's supposed to make your body stronger, your mind sharper, your mood better. So before you decide how you're going to train for fat loss, I want you to keep this in mind. The best workout for fat loss isn't always the one that burns the most calories. And truth be told, that's exactly what led me to run this experiment. So I strapped on my Apple Watch, hit start on a workout, and ran 3 kilometers in one direction. And here are the results from my run. 255 calories burned in 15 minutes. So I was running 5-minute kilometers. So not sprinting, obviously, because I can't sprint 3 kilometers, but definitely not walking either. Then I rested for a couple of minutes, let my heart rate come down, turned around, hit start on the Apple Watch again, and walked back the exact same 3 kilometers. Now, inevitably, I was going to burn fewer calories on the walk than I did on the run. But how much less? 100? 200? Nope. 14. I burned 241 calories on the walk versus 255 on the run. All that extra effort, the sweat, the aching joints, the exhaustion for 14 calories. Technically speaking, running burns more calories than walking. So you could argue that it's better for fat loss, right? Well, not really. Truth be told, it really shocked me the difference in the calorie burn between the two types of exercise, if you can even call going for a walk an exercise. And it made me realize that running is probably one of the worst ways to burn fat. Think about it. A guy who weighs 170 pounds will burn about 360 calories when he runs for 30 minutes. That means if he runs 3 times a week for a year, he's going to burn about 16 pounds of fat, which sounds great, right? But here's the problem. Most guys don't weigh 170 pounds. In fact, the average body fat percentage amongst men in the United States right now is 28%, which means that most guys are walking around at or over 200 pounds. And running when you're at or over 200 pounds, especially when it's mostly fat and not muscle, ain't a good idea. It's going to put a lot of strain and pressure on your joints, and ultimately, that's what's going to lead you to get injured. But that's not all, because even though running may burn a few extra calories than walking, let's think about what a typical runner's journey actually looks like. You wake up one day motivated. You decide enough's enough and you start running. 3 weeks in, you've lost a few pounds and you're wondering, why didn't I start this years ago? But then work gets busy, the social occasions pick up, and it becomes increasingly more difficult for you to stick to the routine. To make things worse, your joints start to ache, the route gets a little bit boring, your Spotify playlist becomes stale, and now your discipline is starting to fade. And suddenly, what felt like fun just a couple of months ago now feels like yet another chore. And sooner or later, you quit. And there is no shame in that whatsoever. The vast majority of men do not stick with this. It's very easy for life to get in the way of your fitness routine, whatever it is, especially if it doesn't fit around your work, your family, and your social life. But that's why I think walking is so much better than running when it comes to fat loss. Because for the vast majority of men, particularly men over the age of 35 or even 40, unlike running, walking every day is actually sustainable. In fact, if you weigh 200 pounds and you walk 10,000 steps every day for a year, not only will you be walking the equivalent of 66 marathons, but you will burn the equivalent of 146,000 calories, which overall adds up to over 41 pounds of fat. And just to give you a little bit of context, this right here is what 1 pound of body fat looks like. So imagine this times by 41, all just from walking. And sadly, when you dig deeper into the literature about running, things get even worse, because long distance running has actually been proven to lower testosterone, which is one of the biggest problems that we have amongst men in society right now. And it spikes your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. That combination means more belly fat, less energy, lower muscle levels, and worst of all, reduced drive, which overall, I'm pretty sure we can both agree is no bueno. But listen, you might be skeptical about all this, and honestly, I wouldn't blame you. Most men think that fat loss should be hard because they feel like they've tried everything and nothing worked. And running feels hard. You feel the burn, you're panting, you're sweating, and surely all of this is better for fat loss, right? And just to be very clear to all the runners out there, I'm not saying that running is bad. It's obviously fantastic for your cardio and for your mental health. So if you like your running, power to you guys. I am certainly not telling you that you shouldn't do it. Heck, I'm partial to a run every now and then. And whenever I do, I absolutely love it. But the exception does not disprove the rule. When it comes to most guys, and specifically when it comes to fat loss, running is not the best option. And I will die on that hill. I have the data to support it because I've helped hundreds of guys over the last 6 or 7 years to lose anything from 20 to 75 pounds of fat without running a single mile. So you have to stop and ask yourself, if there is a smarter, more sustainable way to burn fat that doesn't leave you sore and exhausted and drained, that protects your joints and keeps your hormones optimized, why wouldn't you do it? Walking makes fat loss effortless, without the sore knees, burning lungs, or the mental battle just to get out the door. And it only takes the average guy 8 minutes to do 1,000 steps, which means you can do 10,000 in less than an hour and a half. Now, when you factor in that most guys will do 2,000 steps a day just existing, whether that's commuting to work, doing the grocery shopping, walking around the house, or playing with your kids outside, it means you only consciously need to hit 8,000 steps a day. That's an hour's walk at the start of the day to wake you up, or an hour at the end to de-stress you and chill you out. 1 hour a day to burn 41 of these without running a single mile. And better yet, you can multitask while you do it. Use it as an opportunity to listen to an audiobook or a podcast or a new playlist. Phone your friend, phone your mum, or switch all of your Zoom meetings to walking meetings, because it's been 5 years, guys. And I don't know about you, but when I was back in the corporate world, I was sick and tired of sitting on calls asking people how their weekend was and what the weather was like. But the problem is, the average American and Brit is only doing about 3,000 to 4,000 steps a day. So after this video, load up the Health app on your phone and look at what your average step count has been for the last month. Then I want you to make it your mission to add 20% to that number until you're consistently hitting 10,000 steps a day. 10,000 is a great goal, but bear in mind that even 6,000 or 8,000 is better than nothing. Start where you are and just build up slowly over time. You don't have to power walk like a lunatic. A steady, brisk pace where you can still hold a conversation is perfect. And if you needed any more incentive to get off your ass and get outside, did you know that walking doesn't just help you with fat loss? In fact, I think my favorite thing about walking is the positive and powerful effect that it has on your mind. Most people don't even realize that getting outside into nature and going for a walk activates a part of your autonomic nervous system called your parasympathetic nervous system. And this is the part of your nervous system which is linked to rest and digestion. Just think about it. Have you ever realized why you suddenly feel less stressed or even more creative when you get outside, when you get into nature, when you get some fresh air, when you see some sunlight? All of that, that's your parasympathetic nervous system kicking in, changing your environment. Fresh air, nature, sunlight, all of this good stuff. You can't see it on the outside, but it's doing wonders for you on the inside. So here's the bottom line. If you love running, keep running. It's great for your heart, it's great for your mind, and it might just be your thing. But if your goal is fat loss and you're sick of pounding the pavement and getting nowhere, walking is your secret weapon and your unfair advantage. It's sustainable, it's joint friendly, and most important of all, it helps you burn fat without destroying your body. Remember, fat loss doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to be consistent. But if you feel like you are doing everything right and still not burning fat in the areas that you want to, check out this video next. Or if you'd like me to personally coach you so that you can lose the next 10, 20, or maybe even 50 pounds, all without having to follow an extreme diet, then click the link underneath this video to check out how my coaching program works. Either way, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.